The other day I was speaking to a friend. We were talking, as inevitably we do, we were talking about the pandemic. And she suddenly said, "Where's God in all this?" Well, you know, I wish I'd had a little booklet with all the neat answers that I could have turned up and responded, but I don't have answers. If I'd asked my grandparents the question, they would probably have said, well, God sends these things to test us. It's a bit rough for me, thinking of God as bending me as much as he can to see when I break. If I'd gone back even further to my ancient ancestors, they would have said, well, what do you expect? We're just the playthings of the gods. So we get what we take what we get. I'm not sure that satisfies the person in the hospital bed. I wonder if that satisfies the couple that have just lost a baby, to say, don't worry, God's testing you. I've been asked that question at funerals and all kinds of occasions. There simply is no easy answer. So I thought I'd check to see what the scriptures say about this. And there's a long book. It's really a long parable. It's called the Book of Job. Now, Job was a very successful person. Everything seemed to go his way. Until now. And then suddenly, he starts to lose everything. He loses his flocks. He loses children. He loses his house. And then when he's got nothing left, he breaks out in boils all over his body. His wife is still around. I'm not sure that was much of a blessing, because she says to him, God did this. Curse God and die. His response is very understandable. He says, you're a stupid woman. And that's the end of it. We don't see much of her after that. And then along come his friends. Meanwhile, he's been saying to himself, I wonder why I was born. And along come three friends, and they sit with him. And apparently they sit there in silence for days. They were not very good company. And then they begin to say to him, Job, you've just got what you deserve. Face the fact. You've been bad. You may not recognize it, but you've been bad. Another one says, well, we don't know what's happened, but you've certainly been up to mischief, and you're being punished. You're getting what you deserve. Another one suggests, well, maybe it was your children who misbehaved, and God is punishing you for them. At the end of that little episode, Job says, boy, you're miserable comforters. And off they go. And then, interestingly, in this long parable, God intervenes. And God says, Job, where were you when I created the heavens and the earth? Were you standing beside me, organizing me? Maybe there are some things you simply do not understand because you are limited, you are a human being. Well, that conversation goes on a bit, and then Job reaches a conclusion. He realizes that he has no easy answer. He has to cling on to something he believes in. And so one of the great climax of that book is he says, I know that my Redeemer lives. That's where the Christian stands. We simply do not have answers to every question. There are some things that are completely beyond us because we don't know the mind of God and all that goes into creation. We have to cling to the things we are sure of. And my faith tells me I believe in God. I believe God loves me. And I'm content.